Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Alif bin Muhammad Amin and I am the group representative for my group, which is Group B. I am going to present about our reflection on the lesson that we have conducted before, or to keep things simple, our teaching report. So, without taking too much of our time, I am going to go ahead and explain what we did and how do we feel about our teaching lesson. First and foremost, we have 9 aspects to focus on, which is these aspects. And I will explain each of these aspects one by one. So, the first aspect will be the material used in teaching, which is this one. Okay. So, the first aspect will be the materials used in teaching. Were the materials that we use are suitable and attractive to grab our students' attention? The answer is yes, as our materials for teaching were very catchy and interesting. This aspect focuses more on strength because the material that were used during this class was appropriate and we managed to grab our students' attention by using our Canva slideshows. We chose Canva because it is easy to use than other materials. We also managed to get our students to answer all of the questions during the listening test through our own Google form. We also managed to complete this session smoothly without any disturbance. Also, for our peer feedback, the students we taught are from Group 1. And from their perspective and their feedback, they stated that the Canva slides that we used were cute and informative. Moving on to the second aspect is strategies used in teaching. The strategies used were appropriate as I, the teacher, tried to grab my students' attention by singing. And it went very well as the students seemed to enjoy it. Also, I use an open-ended question from time to time to make sure all of my students pay attention during class. With all these strategies used during this class, I managed to fulfill the learning objective because most of the students partake in the activity and answer all of the questions given. But there's also some weakness with this strategy because even though the students enjoyed when I sang in the class, some students could not focus because they were giggling. This does leave a negative impact, as some students could not answer my questions because the time span that I've given was used to giggle and not to think or write for an answer. From this incident, I learned that I should not disturb them by doing something goofy in class or singing when I give the student some time to answer a question. And also, I should make more activities that all of the students can get involved in. Even though the strategy that I used had some flaw, this strategy also have a positive impact because most of the students enjoy when I sang in class. And by singing in the class, most students feel that I am easy to approach to, and they seem to be more attentive and cooperative during class. Also, for the peer feedback, from Group 14, which is one of our group that we taught, stated that the teachers have good engagement with them, and the teachers knows how to grab the students' attention by singing and being cheerful during class. But there's also a weakness they stated, which is the teacher reads the script while talking to the students. We are so sorry for that. We will try to not solely read our script next time. Moving on to the third aspect, which is students respond to the materials used. Were the students attracted to the materials and were they able to use the materials? The answer to that question is yes, because the students showed positive response as all of the students enjoyed watching the slides and students were also eager to participate in the listening activity. This aspect focuses more on strength, as most of the students stated that the slides were very cute and easy to understand. And also, most of the students will relax when doing the listening task, as the instructions that we made were easy to understand and the listening task was not that hard. Moving on to the fourth aspect is the students' responses to the strategies used. By using my open-ended question during class, the students responded positively as they were eager to answer my questions because they were having fun during the class session, and most of the students understood the topic that had been explained during class. This aspect is more to strength because the response from the students were very positive and most of them were eager to give their answer. For the peer feedback from Group 1, they stated that the teachers were friendly and approachable, and they were able to learn the topic while having fun. And our strategy also boosts their self-esteem in class. Also, from Group 13, which is one of our group that we taught also, stated that the method that we used during our class session were very interesting and they had fun during the whole session. Moving on to the fifth aspect, which is flow of the lesson. The lesson that we delivered was well planned and every session went smoothly. But there were also minor setbacks, as when our content creator had a technical issue and didn't manage to paste the Google Form link at the chat box on time. While waiting for her, we played the listening audio to make sure the situation didn't turn awkward. But even though there was a little problem, the lesson that we delivered during class were very well and clear. Moving on to the sixth aspect, which is timing or time allocation for the stages. The timing was great as the activities did not bore the students and we did not make our explanation too long about the topic. In fact, the time given for the students to think about an answer and also the time for the listening activity was delivered successfully according to the time allocated. But our Q&A session falls to the weakness point because for this session, students took a long time to ask for a question and we need to engage them by saying things like, "Do you have any questions regarding today's topic?" and so on. But overall, the timing were appropriate and students seems to enjoy the learning session. The time given for the students to answer questions were also appropriate and also the class ended according to the time that had been scheduled. Moving on to the seventh aspect, which is sequencing of the lesson. The sequence for all of our activities and lessons were well planned, and most of the students are not confused on what they have to do. This aspect focuses more on strength as all of our activities were sequenced accordingly. I stated this because we started our activity by doing open-ended questions so that the students will not lose focus during class. Next, we discussed the importance of breakfast in our daily life. After that, we test the students' understanding by doing a listening test. And finally, we asked students if they had any questions about our topic and ended our class with a photo taking session. And all of these were well planned as it ended smoothly. Moving on to the eighth aspect, which is, were lesson objectives met? And the answer is yes. The objectives for this session were met. And this is because all of students are able to identify and extract main ideas from the listening test, and also all of the students are able to speak and at least list out their main ideas from the questions that was given to them. Finally, for the last aspect, is were the success criteria achievable? And yes, the success criteria was achievable. And this is because all of the students successfully list out more than 4 main ideas from what they hear, and all of the students are able to speak during the class. Students also managed to identify and extract more than 4 main ideas and details from the listening activity that was held during the class. Even though the class session went smoothly, we also have our own problems and doubts. Actually, there are a lot of problems that we are having during the class, but there are 3 main problems that we have during the class, which is the first one would be the internet connection is not very stable. Sometimes the internet will make our face blurry and can also make our voice unclear. I admit the class was interrupted a little bit, but it does not jeopardize the whole class session. We also have this problem which to keep our students active in breadth, depth, and quality during their online learning. This is because we want their full attention during our class session, and we are also quite worried if the activities that we've done were not enough to grab their attention. And we are also afraid that the students did not pay enough attention as most of the students closed their cameras. But out of all these challenges, we managed to help this class successfully and ended it smoothly. To summarize things up, even though teaching students can be quite hard, but all of us work as a team. And while teaching the students, we also had fun as well. And we managed to grab the students' attention by doing a lot of activities and effective teaching method. And we believe that we did a good job handling this class session as we received a lot of positive feedbacks from our teaching groups. And finally, we are proud that our students are able to understand clearly about the topic that was given by us. And that is all from our group. Thank you for your time and attention on hearing about our teaching reflection. Thank you again and goodbye.